Welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. I'm Ani Anderson.
And I'm Brian Trzaskos. Join us as we explore the science
and art of trauma-sensitive somatic practices and tools.
Strengthen your practice as a coach, therapist, or holistic professional.
Master the art of motivating even the most challenging clients when you understand how to tap into and unlock your client's complete holistic intelligence.
If you want to learn the most cutting-edge, research-supported skills for personal and professional mastery, you've come to the right place. Let's get this conversation started.
Hi, and welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. Hey there, Brian.
Hello, Ani.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
And
good.
yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks.
Pretty good?
Yeah. We are at episode 94 today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're on a roll to 100 here.
And today we are talking about manifestation.
Ooh.
That whole topic of manifestation, it can seem really wondrous sometimes, can't it?
People get excited about manifestation.
Manifestation.
I feel like we should toss confetti in the air when we say it. Manifestation. Woo.
Yeah. And I think because of that, other people are like, hooey. Like manifestation,
I don't believe in manifestation.
You're out there, people, kind of thing.
I had someone the other day tell me that their friend said to them, it was kind of like a bold thing, I don't believe in manifestation. And the person kind of took offense to it because they feel like they do manifestation as a coach with their clients. And it was I just thought it was funny because I'm like, what do you mean you don't believe in it? It's like saying I don't believe in dogs, right?
Don't believe in air.
Yeah.
Don't believe in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? It exists. It's the thing.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I don't believe in it. By saying that, you I don't know. It's like a Horcrux or something from Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I wonder if that person ever makes dinner for themselves.
I believe they probably do.
Because if they are, then by definition, they're making something manifest.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So,
we know what's coming, don't we, folks?
So
I think that was some foreshadowing that we have a definition.
We have a definition on its way. But basically, what we're going to talk about today is the manifestation principle that people most often miss, and that might actually lead back to what your friends or clients person said around they don't believe in manifestation.
Yeah.
Because there are all kinds of things that we think manifestation is supposed to be, but let's go to the definition. So when you look up what it means to manifest in the dictionary in Webster's, here's the definition. So when something is readily perceived by the senses, and I thought this was interesting, and especially by the sense of sight.
Readily perceived by the senses. Okay. Oh, and especially the sense of sight.
So it just lends itself to as humans, we are really sight dominant creatures.
You gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah, right.
If I see it, then it's real.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how sight dominant we are as humans in terms of validating what we believe?
Yeah,
just what you said. I need to see it to believe it, which is interesting because we've got these other faculties also that become a part of it.
No, that's totally true. I'm laughing because. I think sometimes when you hear manifest it, you think a magic trick, it's not there. And then all of a sudden, poof, I can see it.
And I think that's why people would say they don't believe in manifestation, because I think partly that's the misconception we have about manifestation is it goes immediately from the invisible to the visible.
Right.
Now, that very rarely happens.
Except with white bunnies and magician.
Yeah, well, with magical thinking and that sort of thing.
Well, what pops in and out of our experience? The only thing I know that does that is my clients on Zoom. I'm serious though.
It's funny, yeah. When they weren't there and then they're there.
Virtual background and they you call it the meeting. You see the virtual background and all of a sudden. Poof, the client appears and it's I will never get used to that ever.
That's funny. That's really funny.
The only thing in my experience that
then they become readily perceived by your sense of sight. That's an interesting, by definition, they have just become manifest to you.
Right. Right. I couldn't see him, and then all of a sudden I do.
Well, that's interesting.
But like that's the only time I can think of that something
That
just
happens
goes
immediately like that,
poof. Like
right?
that's yeah, not how things work.
So let's a little more of the definition here. Another part of the definition is when something is easily understood or recognized by the mind. And there was a word after that, obvious. So there's a
It's
sense
apparent.
that there was something apparent or something obvious that happened
Uh-huh.
with that, right?
Yeah.
So manifest also kind of means to like come to the hand. Like that's kind of like the idea that all of a sudden it appears, it's real. It's
It's
apparently not only tangible, but we see it.
obvious.
It's obvious and it's obviously there. Now, I think what's interesting, what's occurring to me right now is where we are sometimes in the world right now is that we have alternate facts. You know, some people believe in
Yeah.
alternate facts, like something is apparent, and the other person's like, it's not apparent. That's real. That's not real. So that becomes a challenge when it seems like we have people living in
Right.
different realities, actually.
Well, yeah.
So do we have to agree that the thing is obvious? Not necessarily for someone's personal manifestation
This
process.
has something to do with perception. Read that again.
When it's easily understood or recognized by the mind.
So that's really interesting right there because something can be recognized by, like you're saying, like your mind,
Mm.
but not recognized by my mind because of
Mm.
perceptual
Correct.
differences.
And what
So
is mind too? I mean, that's the whole like, let's talk
absolutely.
about the next four podcasts about that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, but perception would then tell us that one person could say that something's manifest and another person would say it's not.
Correct. Exactly. Which can sometimes be interesting because we do have blind spots
Sure.
in our mind.
Yeah.
You know, our perceptions, we have perceptual blind spots called scotomas. And those happen with our subconscious conditioning. And lots of times when we're working with our clients and our students, something is obvious to us that they've manifested, but they don't see it because it's in their perceptual blind spot or scotoma. Likewise for me, I might say, I would love to have something come into my life. And you're like, it's right there. And I'm like, I don't see
Well,
it.
actually, that's a really interesting point too about manifestation because sometimes people can think that things go poof from nowhere to appearing. Like the book The Secret that was so popular years ago kind of made it sound like that's what it was saying,
Yeah.
right? And then after it came out, people were talking about how it's not like that. Things are in our experience. We just aren't aware of them yet. And that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, yeah. So that whole process of manifestation, the idea with the book The Secret, I think it activated a lot of people's awareness of the possibility for manifestation, but it also left a lot out of the process, actuality. And I think it set people up for a lot of
Illusionment,
disillusionment,
right?
which created a lot of
To
challenge.
attract it,
Exactly.
right?
Which brings us to the most common kind of conception or missed kind of part of manifestation, which leads back to, I think, why this person said, I don't believe in manifestation.
Are you done with the definition?
I am
Yes.
done with the definition.
Okay,
Yep.
just making sure. Right.
Yep. I'm
Okay.
done with the
All right.
definitions.
On to the next part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what's that? What is
Well,
it?
it's because, again, does it go poof? But let's just talk about it right now. Like the most misperceived or missed principle of manifestation, in my mind, is that when people think manifestation is a passive process.
Right.
And I think that probably leads back again to what you were saying about this person when they say, I don't believe in manifestation.
I
If
don't
we actually
believe.
walk through them, what manifestation actually is, they'd probably like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Because
Well, that
we're
makes
going to walk
sense.
through it right now. It's very clear, like how you manifest something is pretty clear,
Right.
how you go about doing that. And it's not a passive process. It's actually a very active process.
Yeah, I relate to this because I used to think that manifestation was sitting on a cushion, visualizing what I wanted, saying mantras,
And then it goes poof.
and then waiting for it to appear.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Or waiting for me to attract it.
Now, we're not discounting that there's not a part of a manifestation project, which is visualizing
Sure.
what you want to create. That definitely is a part of it.
Sure.
But it's not but if you stop there
Right.
and you think that all I have to do is visualize it and it'll happen, you're likely to be very disappointed.
Yeah, because there's action associated
There's action
with
associated
making
with it.
something manifest.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we look at our definition again, something is manifest when it becomes apparent to the senses, when it's obvious that it's there. Now, also baked into this idea is that once we didn't perceive it, now we do perceive it. So that's what it means to make manifest. At a certain moment in time, we don't perceive it, and then we do perceive it. Now it has become manifest. So it's kind of moving from the invisible to the visible.
Sure.
Because if the definition says, especially the sense of sight, and by the way, I'm not saying that that's the only way something can become manifest. I'm just looking at the because it says especially, not only.
Right. Well, yeah, it's mentioned
Right.
all the senses.
But if we talk about sight, visible and invisible, that has to do with the sight. So when something moves from the invisible to the visible, then it has become manifest. One of my favorite examples, Ani, is an example you use all the time when we teach about manifestation, which is about making dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to manifest dinner, the first thing you do is you think about dinner and then you sit on your cushion and you visualize dinner and it goes
Poof, and dinner ends up in your kitchen.
right.
No.
No. First, you think about what you want to make. Then you gather the ingredients for it. And then you go to action in the kitchen. You put the ingredients together and it makes dinner manifest.
Right. Yeah. So dinner first started as an idea.
Correct.
Right? Started as an idea
What if I
in
want to
the
have for dinner?
invisible.
Right.
So I'm visualizing, a hamburger.
You're making me hungry now.
Right? So I'm
Yeah.
visualizing a hamburger.
Yeah.
And for those of you here who are vegans or vegetarians, I'm visualizing a black bean burger right along with you. Okay, so a holistic burger everyone can buy into. Okay, and if you don't like that, then visualize a hamburger. Anyway, so you've got a burger in your
I'm visualizing
invisible, right? It's
Brian's
invisible.
Brian's smash
Okay,
burgers.
Brian smash burgers. I do make some
You make
amazing
some
smash burgers.
amazing smash
Hulk
burgers.
smash burgers. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can visualize those things. Now, by the way, you might not have all those ingredients in your cabinet. You
Right.
might have to go
Get them.
to the meat market like we do 8 times a day. Right. I forgot this. I forgot that. We go back to it.
Yeah.
We go back, right? Kind of thing. So we go down to the village meat market 8 times a day
Yeah.
to keep picking up what we need, sort of thing. Or kids can drive now, so sometimes the kids drive down there and pick up something and come back. Anyway.
They should just leave an open tab for us or something and close it out at the end of the day.
So, right. So you might have to go get the thing.
Yeah.
So those ingredients, by the way, they're not in your visual range and they don't just go poof. You have to go get them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go collect all the ingredients and then you mix them together, turn them into a burger.
Well, and it makes something new, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Because you have these ingredients that are one thing and then you mix them together and they make a different thing.
Yeah. But at one time, those black beans that are in your black bean burger were in the ground. The greens grow in the ground or on a tree, on a plant.
Oh, now we're getting
right. Keep going back, right? So they came off of a plant,
right.
And then before that they were in a seed, and before that they weren't even in a seed. They were in a seed of another plant. So if you just keep going back, at one time the black beans were invisible.
So if you believe in plants, then you believe in manifestation. Like literally,
exactly.
The bean was in the seed, and then the seed was in another plant. I mean, come on.
Right. And then it turned into a bean. Yeah. So everything's moving. Everything is moving from the invisible to the visible, and then back to the invisible again. Because when I eat the burger, it's gone. Right?
Yeah.
So the burger started as an idea. Made the burger, it became visible, it became manifest. I just manifested a burger, not by sitting on a couch and hoping it was going to happen. I actually went to work, used my own energy and skills and whatever, and made a burger. And then I ate the burger, and then the burger went back into the invisible again.
Yeah. So even if the burgers manifested our house, somebody had to do it.
Right.
And if it's a smash burger, it was Brian.
That's right. In our house.
But somebody had to do it.
Exactly. So manifestation always includes some type of action. It's not a passive process.
Yeah. And that makes sense because we live in the human world where there is humans and muscles and objects and things.
And things, exactly.
Right? And I think one of the things that can sound like, okay, I don't even want to listen to this episode anymore now because they're making manifestation sound so practical and boring. Like, I want to be in the magic of manifestation. Listen, there's so much magic also in manifestation. How does the burger become these ingredients into this yummy, amazing thing that
Mm,
tastes so good. Is there no magic in there? Like that's magic. Also, part of manifestation is becoming aware of things that you can't see right away, but are already in your presence. They're already in your
mm.
field. Like the ketchup that nobody saw last night when we went to have dinner, and it was literally right in the refrigerator, but nobody saw it. And I know that sounds kind of silly, and we're laughing about it.
Mm.
Oh, the ketchup. But literally, that is what it's like when there's opportunities in your
Mm.
field and you're trying to manifest something, and it's right there. It's just like the ketchup that the teenagers can't see in the refrigerator.
Yeah. So are all manifestation projects like that straightforward?
No.
No. However, when you understand that that's the basic process of manifestation, it helps you understand how bigger projects kind of can happen. And it helps you hold space for understanding that when you do have a manifestation intention, and the way you create the intentions is important, by
Yeah.
the way, right? So there
Yeah.
are other processes within
Within
a
the
manifestation
processes.
project that's
Yeah.
really, really important
Hmm.
because the ingredients that you use to make the burger is going to determine the quality and the
Yep.
experience of eating the burger,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
the intentions that you use when you are finding the ingredients to make the burger is going to affect the quality of the burger. So
Right.
it's our intentions, it's our attention, it's our energy, it's all kinds of other factors go into play to really end up with the results of the manifestation project that we really, really want. But manifestation is within itself a natural process that's going on all of the time, literally constantly.
Constantly. We're always manifesting. You can do it unconsciously or you can learn how to do it consciously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're always
Always
manifesting.
manifesting, right? And we're really always manifesting based on, well, if we want to kind of get into this, right, our beliefs, our subconscious
Sure.
beliefs are always the drivers of what we're manifesting. And in our lives, we're often manifesting on autopilot
Right.
and on repeat results that we don't like. And we're
Right.
and they're not just appearing, they might look like they were just appearing out of nowhere, but the fact is we are engaging in the world in such a way where we are actually fostering the repeat of those results that we don't like.
Yeah, so people might say, "Oh, I want to manifest," like it's not something they're doing already, but we're all always
Yes, exactly.
manifesting. Really, what they're saying is, "I want to learn how to consciously manifest."
Exactly. And it's the very first thing, the myth that we kind of have to just take away, or the misconception is not a passive process. It's not a passive process. So
Which
if
I
you're,
think is exciting, Brian.
yeah.
Like that's exciting. We get to engage with life as it should be.
Now, yes, absolutely. And I think it even makes it a little more exciting because then, if there is any magic to manifestation, um, and even though I understand the mechanics of manifestation, there are some things about it that still kind of thrill me, I guess, or that seem a bit wondrous.
Sure.
And some of those things are that when you are in an active manifestation project and you set an intention and then you begin acting on the intention in certain ways, and as you're moving forward in the project, just when it seems that you've hit some type of block or some type of wall, like you don't have, there's some type of resource lack, like there might be not be look like enough money or look like enough support, or you might need something from someone or something or some place or something. Like always, right at the right time, it shows up,
Yeah.
and then it appears. And sometimes in hindsight, when I look back, I can see, oh my God, I can actually see now how that thing was coming into my life.
Sure.
Sometimes I can't see how it was coming into my life all the time.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, for me, what makes it so wondrous are the synchronicities in manifestation.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's what feels magical. But
Yeah.
what I also know is that by getting into action is
Exactly.
what activates those
Makes the
synchronicities.
synchronicities.
I can't just sit
Exactly.
on my cushion and visualize what I want because synchronicities won't happen.
Right.
I have to be in action to activate the synchronicities.
Yep. Me too. I think that's my favorite part about manifestation. And it really is that wondrous feeling as the synchronicities play out. And it's one of those you can't make this stuff up kind of things. So it's
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
look through it like, whoa, whoa. It does require that action component
Yeah.
to make.
And sometimes that thing that shows up in synchronous is something that you don't think you want.
Yeah,
And then you realize like, oh my God,
that was the
there it is.
exact
Like
thing.
it's like it was, and it's so it's almost like the universe is really just playing a joke on you. And
Yeah.
it's like reflecting back to you, like you just said,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then you have to be like, oh yeah. And it's so obvious. You're like, oh my God, like there it is. Okay, so I guess now's the time for me to do that thing that I'm afraid of doing or I don't want to do. And I think that's why we like to have it be a passive process, is because like really transformational manifestation projects will challenge us to grow.
That's
Yeah,
transformation,
they
right?
do.
Yeah, that's transformation.
Right. Because just making dinner, if you've made dinner a whole bunch of times in your life, you're not gonna, it's not gonna make you grow to make dinner.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna just make dinner, but it's not gonna be a challenge. It's not gonna challenge you to change your belief systems. Unless you're making a different kind of dinner for a different kind of person, for a different kind of reason or something, then it might force you to change your belief systems. But most of the time, just when you're on repeat, you're not challenging your belief systems.
Right.
And that's why we want to, it seems easier to just sit on the cushion, visualize the beach house that I'm going to visualize and just expect it's going to drop in. I mean, you have a client you've worked with who visualized a beach house
Yeah,
and
and got it.
she had to get into action though.
Well, heck yeah.
It did just land on her lap while she was visualizing it, right?
No. And the process, especially right before it became hers, was really like a growth opportunity. There were a lot of growth moments on the way, but especially right before it became hers was a major growth opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the magic of it. If we just had the manifestations where things just landed, guess what? That would feel routine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would lose its sizzle,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if things just went poof. So it's a part of the growth process that's can be like a little bit of a roller coaster or a ride at the amusement park. You know, there's wheeze and there's oh my God,
Yeah.
but it's part of that variability actually that makes it so much makes it the fun we crave.
Yeah. You're right. And then you lose that thrill or that wonderment of
Yeah.
actually seeing it all come together.
Yeah. If it didn't have all of those ingredients, it would just be predictable and we'd think about things and they just go poof.
Yeah. And we would also give up our capacity, our willpower, right? So I'm really kind of thinking about that, the part of ourselves that when we take action, how much that reinforces our own sense of empowerment in the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I took an action
Yeah.
and it got a result, and how proud of ourselves we feel,
Yeah.
you know, in a healthy way
Yeah.
that we did that, and it reflects back to us. Our self-worth grows, our capacity to engage grows, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my, now I can do that again and again and again and again and again,
Yeah.
and I can just manifest that on repeat. But
Yep.
every manifestation project again requires action, requires us to step into a greater version of ourselves. Requires that we let go of limiting beliefs, like requires that we let go of these limiting concepts and prove to ourselves. That's where the manifestation comes in, right? Where it's obvious that we can manifest that result again and again and again and again and again. And then once we do that, we're like, oh, I'm ready for another result. And then we start thinking about manifesting something else.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm just laughing to myself because it's for me, it's like right before the thing I'm working on becomes manifest, or just as it's becoming manifest, I start to get the new vision for the next thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And probably here's a difference between you, Ani, and people who have that misconception that it's a passive process, is that you know how to manifest that next thing.
Sure.
Because you understand the process of
manifestation.
manifestation.
Right.
Where if you were to sit on a cushion and just manifest it, and even if it went poof, and you have no idea how that actually happened,
Yeah.
then you can't repeat that.
You can't.
And so then you're like, well, maybe I got lucky. Maybe it was by chance it showed up. And so I've had people who sit on the cushion, and maybe something doesn't go poof like it appear like,
Right.
but something approximate to what they wanted happens.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I want something else. And they sit on the cushion again for months or years.
they
and
think that's the
they
cause
think
and
that's the
effect.
cause and effect
Right.
of it. But when you actually understand the process of manifestation, which is what we practice and what we teach, then you can manifest anything you want.
Yeah, and then you become the cause of the effects.
Yeah. And then it's not even to the point of the manifestation process isn't even the thing that you're manifesting. The point of it is it getting better and better and better at the process itself.
Yeah.
Because when you know the process itself, you can just keep doing it again and again and again. Right? And again, it's just like the same idea of making dinner. You got the idea, you get yourself into action, you pull together the ingredients, you mix them together, out pops the burger or the result. You're going to eat it and it's going to disappear again, which is another part of the manifestation process actually that most people don't want to engage with.
Right.
Is whatever they manifest is eventually going to go away.
Right. And when you know how to manifest, that's okay because there's this continual process of manifestation. But when you don't, that can feel really daunting and scary.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of us don't actually take action to manifest things.
Yeah.
Because
we don't want it to go away.
We don't want it to go away. So
Yeah.
there's underlying attachment to whatever it is that we're creating.
Right.
But since nature continues to cycle again and again, it's always formulating and letting go of, always formulating and letting go of with no attachment. But as humans, if we have any attachment to it, we actually will muck up the manifestation project to begin with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, Brian, all this talk about manifestation and burgers is really making me hungry.
Yes.
I think it's time for lunch.
I think it's time for lunch.
I think it's time for us to manifest some lunch.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Cool. So if this topic was, I don't know, what can we say?
Fun for
you, or if it brought anything up for you, if you're thinking about manifestation projects, of course, reach out, what do they call? Comments down there below, wherever the comments are. Check us out on social media, send us an email. We want to know what you're thinking about this stuff.
Yeah, and share it with somebody you know who's trying to manifest because these are conversations we have all the time, So share it with a friend and then they will know more about manifestation too, and you will be manifesting an even deeper relationship with your friend.
Right. So get into action, get out there and do it, and we'll see you next week on the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that this conversation will help you improve your practice and change the way you think about your work, your clients, and yourself.
Continue your exploration of trauma-sensitive somatic coaching by listening to more podcast episodes at somaticcoachingacademy.com. You could be the trusted guide that people turn to help them with their most challenging situations and to reach their most precious goals. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.